sensation, new kicks in the candlelight. She's got a new addiction for every day and night. She'll make you take your clothes off and go dancing in the rain. She'll make you live a crazy life, but she'll take away your pain like a bullet to your brain. Outside, inside out, she's living la vida loca. She'll push and pull you down, living la vida loca. Lips are devil red, her skin's the color of mocha. She will wear you out. She's living la vida loca, living la vida loca. She's living la vida loca. Woke up in New York City in a funky cheap hotel. She took my heart, she took my money, must have slipped me a sleeping pill. She never drinks the water, makes you order French champagne. Once you've had a taste of her, you'll never be the same. Yeah, she'll make you go insane. Outside, inside out, she's living la vida loca. She'll push and pull you down, living la vida loca. Lips are devil red, her skin's the color of mocha. She will wear you out. She's living la vida loca, living la vida loca. She's living la vida loca.
We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know, I know. We are the ones, we are the ones, we are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones, we are the ones, we are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. We are the ones who attempt to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know, I know. We are the ones, we are the ones, we are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones, we are the ones.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joe, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, it's I'm No Joe. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, we have got a glorious panel here to break down shit talk and shenaniganry ensue this upcoming weekend's combat. I guess you would call it combat sports activities. It's international and it's not all the same technically speaking, so you know, it's a thing. But first and foremost, how the hell are you two gentlemen doing?
Doing pretty good. Glad to be on the fucking best MMA podcast out there once again. Hope you guys are fucking doing good, having a good week.
Not too
Dude,
bad.
fucking one more day to Friday. I'm fucking stoked that I actually got to catch last week's fights. I forgot they were in Abu Dhabi, so the time fucking difference was all fucked up. I mean, I missed a couple of them, but that's because, well, gotta coach kids football.
Yeah.
But overall, glad I caught it because I didn't think I was going to with the evening stuff that we had planned. So, main card was pretty fucking solid for the most part. There was some weird fuckery in there, but it was solid.
It was a thing. It was most definitely a thing. For those of you who don't know how the craziness ensued, I did do a What Did I Say show and give you the full breakdown of all the craziness that did ensue on that card, top to bottom, regardless of how fucking ridiculous it was. I gave it to you how it came down, so there is that out there. But that being said, we are done with the Abu Dammit moment. We are back moving forward, heading in the right direction now. We have finalized the Grand Prix. The True King came out, so the crown is established. Now we can get back to some regular matches and establish ourselves some challengers, some contenders, see who's got what, who's ready to go after it. We will get to that later on in the episode. I know that is highly anticipated, but first and foremost, as we like to do around here, we're going to start with a little bit of news and recent events. And I will say, despite coming off of such a huge card like last weekend was, there really was a lot less crazy news shaking down this week than I kind of anticipated. I figured this would be like literally between Sunday and today would have been the moment where the UFC would have started to drop the fucking weird late year bombs, but we really didn't get too terrible craziness. We did get some interesting tidbits though. The LFA was shining bright this week. First and foremost, UFC signed the LFA ladies flyweight champion Gabriela Fernandez, 8-1. Looks like a fucking mauler. Now, I'm not saying anything in comparison to the Bullet because we all fucking know, but this lady has established herself pretty fucking well where she was. It's going to be interesting to see how that LFA experience transfers over into the UFC. If anybody's got a good chance of making themselves viable new blood in that fucking division, this lady has as good a chance as any. So I'm very interested to see how the UFC plays her career going forward, knowing how stale that fucking division is right now. That being said, on the boys' side of the house, ironically enough, in the same fucking division, the men's LFA flyweight champion, one Carlos Mota, is stepping in, and I believe they calling 4 days notice officially to take on Cody Durden this fucking weekend. So LFA, like I said, shining fucking bright this week, and to the surprise of very few who've been paying attention, Mota looks like he might be the favorite coming into that match, even on short notice. So LFA just shining bright like a diamond this weekend, and I'm fucking happy for it, man.
Some people might think I'm stupid, but I'm kind of leaning towards Mota in that fight. I mean, I just like it. The only thing that worries me is the short notice thing. And Cody Durden's not a bad fighter, but
Right.
I definitely kind of
either,
leaning
so.
towards him.
Yeah, the way I look at it, if Muhammad Mukayev could go in there on short notice and do to Cody Durden what he did, I'm hoping that Carlos Mota can follow that blueprint, if you will, and show up short notice and just wreck fucking shop. He would definitely make this weekend a wonderful experience for everyone if he does. So even if not, the short notice appearance, stepping up, the LFA fucking shine coming through, I'm cool with it, man. I'm digging it. That being said, speaking of short notice, we now officially speaking have the UFC Vegas 64 Fight Night main event rearranged for the November 5th card. Originally it was going to be Bryce Mitchell, but unfortunately that has fallen through. We'll get to the fallout of that later. But for right now, the November 5th card, we do this live. Still needed a main event. Well, the UFC has put pen to paper for better or worse, and we now know what our main event coming up in 2 weeks is going to be. Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Lemos. The collective sigh you just heard was the internet going.
I'm looking for the skip button. I can't fucking find it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is with the UFC. And like, let me put it this way. I understand that this is absolutely one of those fights that needs to be made. I'm not discrediting that. This fight deserves to be made. But the UFC has been on a bit of a trend, at least towards the later part of this year, with taking very non-main event worthy fights and almost forcing them into a main event situation. There are several other fights on that card that could have stepped up and been that main event. This did not need to be thrust into that spotlight, I assure you. But
I'll give him a little bit of a break. I'm going to put more of the blame, even though I like him, the Sandman. How did Corey Sandhagen turn down? I don't want to say I lost respect for him, but he called out Cheeto Vera, and he didn't take the fight. The UFC offered them the main event for this card once Evil and Bryce Mitchell fell out. Cheeto Vera said yes right away. It was like, yeah, let's do it. And Corey Sandhagen, he wants time. Came out. I saw his Instagram video the other day.
Yeah,
he's like,
I was gonna
give
say,
me till
you can't
February.
fault him. Yeah, that's a serious fight, and you can't fault him for wanting to take it seriously. I
No, I
understand that.
can't.
But at
still,
the same time,
I kind of
sometimes
want
you
to
gotta
blame
seize
Corey
the goddamn
Sandhagen
moment.
a little more than the UFC because it's like we could have had a better fucking main event than the Bryce Mitchell and Masvidal Evil fight. If Corey would have just said yes, he's like, fuck it, yeah, let's go, let's chuck them fucking hands. I don't give a fuck.
Look, at this point, Corey has no right to call anybody out. When they offer you the fight, no matter when it is, if you're going to call somebody out, that means you're ready for them this fucking moment.
Yeah, that's why I'm upset about it. Corey called Cheeto out after he beat Song Yadong, and then they give you the fight, and you don't
give him
take
his chance. Yeah,
they gave him 3 weeks notice because that happened last week or towards the end of this.
It's been a month and a half, and if he's anything like Cheeto, Cheeto after his fight with Dom, he's right back in the gym. He's been training. And that's why he said yes once they brought it up to him. Corey Sandhagen, he should have been in the gym the past month. Why are you not fucking ready to take a fight? Why would I know? Yes, Cheeto's a very good fucking opponent. And yeah, you maybe like to game plan for that. But if you're a dog, if you're a fighter, any athlete, right? Any professional athlete, in my opinion, should be ready to go at any point in time. You think about baseball players, they play 100-something games a year. They play almost every fucking day. Basketball players, they play multiple times a week. Football players are playing every fucking week. Fighters got to be ready too. If you get the opportunity, you get the call, you got to take it. And I didn't lose respect for Corey. It's like, and I hope we still get that fight. You just blame him more than the UFC on that one. We could have had a banger, and Corey said no.
I see that. I see that one both ways. Like, I agree. If you're gonna talk shit to a dude, and call him out, you better be ready for them to send you a fucking contract immediately for the first fucking available date. Otherwise, keep your fucking mouth shut, sit on the sidelines, and wait for your manager to give you the call.
No
I 100% agree with that. That being said, I also see this being a very fucking serious fight, not just stylistically, but rankings wise. This could very well determine the next dude to get the shot. So I understand not wanting to take your potential title shot, on a short notice as well.
Yeah, but that you take that short notice fight and you win it, guaranteed title shot.
I was gonna say, but
That's
that's
where
gamble, yeah.
Because it's not necessarily that if they wait till February and they fight, they might not get the title shot depending on who wins. If they were to do it right now on short notice, Dana White loves that shit. You're willing to come in on short notice fight and you're putting up your ranking for it.
You get the favorite.
Guess what? You win. Yeah, dude, you're in fucking line. Just right, you're back here. Bam, you jump the fucking line to the front. That's how that shit works. Especially with
Benny's a perfect example of that, man. He broke his fucking ankle and got pushed to the fucking back of the line on the card that he was supposed to be competing for the belt on.
I'm just saying there's some shit that goes on there that pisses me off. One of them is calling people out, and then when they accept the fight, you back out. Well, it didn't get enough time. No, that's not how this game works. If you call somebody out, you take the fucking fight right when they offer it to you.
That's what I'm saying.
Why? Because there are plenty of other fighters out there that are calling for fights, and the second they get it, here, I'll cut my fucking hand, sign that shit in blood. Let's do it now. There's plenty of fighters out there like that. Just because you're at the top of the fucking pile, you want to call people out, you're mad because Cheeto's getting more fucking credit than you? Well, maybe you should show up in your last couple fights when you didn't really look that fucking great. Now you're backing out because you didn't have enough time for... And I'm not taking away the fact that Cheeto isn't dangerous, because he's fucking dangerous. Very dangerous right now. He's on a fucking high, and he doesn't look to be coming down anytime soon. Man, I think Sandhagen really shot himself in the foot there, because Dana doesn't like somebody who's not going to take the contract when they offer him a big fight like that, because that's a big fight for the both of them.
Yeah, now I like that I brought this up because they got TJ going there. But then there's the other thing. I feel like you're right. You shot him in the foot. They're more likely to go because of the way everything went with this past weekend, the 280 with O'Malley. How everybody felt about it, even how I feel about it, even though I'm an O'Malley fan. I get why everybody thinks that he lost, right? And then the way that the fight went and how close that it was, he showed us he's got some dog, but I still think he's got a bit to go. He's not ready for a title, and Aljamain will just run all over him because of the wrestling. I mean, he can't do anything to stop that. That fight's kind of pointless other than the sell factor, the shit talking and the sell of it. So it's like the rematch of Cheeto and O'Malley makes the most sense.
No, it doesn't.
Hagen kind of fuck himself.
The
rematch, the UFC is probably going to go for that.
There is no fucking rematch for that. Fuck that. Cheeto's ahead of him in line, period. That dude literally stole that shit and then had the audacity to get caught stealing and say, oh, I didn't steal that shit afterwards. No. When you blatantly fucking admit it in the middle of the fucking octagon, yeah, I need to go back and rewatch it to see what happened. Obviously, you didn't win that fucking fight. And then to come out a day or two later and put it out on social media, yeah, I obviously won it, so now everybody's going to be a fucking hater. No, you obviously lost it, because right at that fucking moment when he interviewed you in the octagon, you knew you shouldn't have gotten that win. You're going to change your fucking tune 24 to 48 hours later? Go fuck yourself. Jump in front of a truck, start yourself on fire for a fucking title shot, and hopefully nobody ever puts you out.
Yeah, I think
he's
most definitely now more
shot.
than ever that Cheeto rematch is definitely top priority, especially with Sandhagen turning down the fucking potential takeover of the main event.
If I'm Cheeto, I tell that guy to go fuck himself.
Yeah, I mean, Cheeto may not take the fight, but I think that's what the UFC is going to go for. They're not going to give O'Malley's going to get somebody else. He's not getting the title shot. Why the fuck would Dana bring up fucking Cejudo? For months he's been laughing off the idea of Cejudo. Like hating reporters ask that question, and then he brought Cejudo up. Oh, I hated that.
I hate fucking Cejudo just as much as the next guy, but I would much rather see Cejudo get that next shot over fucking O'Malley.
He probably will too.
I agree. And yeah, I was gonna say, and especially the way everything's shaking loose now, it
And he's
looks
in the
more
USADA,
likely than
he's
ever.
been in the USADA pool for what, 3 or 4 months now?
He's been in there for I think almost 6 months.
Or 6. Yeah, he's
I
pretty
think he's
fucking
closing
close.
in on the 6-month mark. He might be by the time we get an opening
And,
coming up here before the end of the year.
You know,
He
if
should be
they're
able to hit that 6-month
not
mark.
to mention he's gonna have a great training partner, as much as I hate to say it, because he's been training with fucking Mighty Mouse. So I honestly think he will run through fucking goddamn, yeah, he'll run through that fucking division right now. As much as I hate to admit it, because that dude's wrestling is so fucking good. I do not like him as a person. I hope he's changed since he's been away in a couple of years, because I would like to get behind the dude, but I just can't until I see a fucking actual change in his personality. But you know, that just doesn't seem to be happening. But either way, there's still too much fuckery afoot there, and fuck that piece of shit O'Malley. That is literally a highway robbery. They fucking robbed Peter Young so fucking bad there. So fucking bad. Still pissed about that.
Yeah. No,
And fuck all of you who decided to vote him in. You're lucky because I knew it was a robbery by the judges. That's the only reason you didn't get fucking unfriended.
No, the way that I see it, this should be one of the very few, if only times, we allow Cheeto to turn down a fight publicly. And that's when the UFC tries to send him that O'Malley contract, and he just gives a picture of this as he's holding the contract on fire in his driveway. That's the only time I think that would be an acceptable time to turn down a fight, because no.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue the aspect of the fight or how it went, but I just want to bring that up. I really love seeing O'Malley show something he hadn't shown us something before. That he can take a bit of an ass whooping and keep on.
Look, if you want to say you want to suck his dick, just say you want to suck his dick.
No, that's not what we're getting at here. He finally showed that he's a fighter, right?
And fucking gay
even if you hate him and you don't want to show any liquor respect, that's the biggest thing that I liked about that fight. That was the best fight of the night.
I give respect where
they went back and forth, and he fucking got his ass beat, and he kept fucking coming. I mean, against one of the best fucking guys in the division. So he just finally, he finally got tested. That was it.
Like I said, I give respect where respect is due. Yes, he stayed in there and took an ass whooping. That's it. That's the end of his respect. After that, fuck him.
I give him credit for two things. One, popping the fuck back up when Peter put him flat on his ass, which he did easily. So that's on Peter for not having the fucking strength and the fucking game plan to hold him once he got him down, which he did repeatedly. But two, that shot in the I think it was at like 340 something in the third round, where he caught Piotr just on the Nate Diaz of the eyebrow and split his fucking eye open after they'd already been going at it.
That's why they fucking called it for him too. You already know, like even if everybody hated it, that's why I know the fucking busting Peter Yan up in the third round. That's why he fucking got the split decision, right? Like that damage shit is
damage overrules everything at this point. Yeah, and that cut in the end of the third. Yeah, doesn't make it right, but that's what they did. That being said, remember I mentioned earlier that there was going to be some fallout for the Bryce Mitchell, Mosler, Evliov, fallout. Well, we got it confirmed here. They couldn't put that fight back together. Obviously, Mopsar is injured, but they did find us an interesting new one by playing a little bit of a switcheroo game with a couple of other fights here. So now, officially, pen to paper confirmed, December 10th, UFC 282 final pay-per-view of the year will now feature one Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell versus one Ilya Topuria taking place on that 282 card, which ordinarily would be something that everybody should be celebrating and be excited about. But I'm afraid that we got this matchup due to a sacrifice to the MMA gods on that same card to make that happen. Because as we got that news, we also got confirmation that Bo Nickel is officially injured and will not be able to compete on 282 and make his debut against Jamie Pickett after all. And almost as if it was scripted predictably, about 45 minutes after the Bo Nickel injury announcement came out, we got the other piece, or the other shoe dropped, as it were. And they officially announced that Raul Rosas Jr., however the fuck you say his name, the youngest asshole to ever fucking cake his way through the fucking Soup Can series, will officially make his debut instead of Bo Nickel, taking on the reputable Soup Can that is Jay Perrin on that
They
too.
gave us a whole handful of shit in replacement of Bo Nickel. Like they thought that was, oh shit, Bo's hurt, we're losing Bo. Here's a handful of shit. Do you accept? Here's
Don't
Patty
look at the shiny we're
Pimblett.
taking away. Look at the giant pile of shit we're giving you instead.
Here's Bryce Mitchell and his flat earth and shit. Here's Patty Pimblett versus Jared Gordon. So yeah, oh, and then I got some shit for the cans and contenders. A whole slew of cans coming into the picture. They're just handing us shit. Sorry, Bo's out. Do you like shit?
Right. Very much so. Very much so.
You will eat the cat poop.
Yeah. You think they'd do nicer for that last pay-per-view card of the year, but no, they're like, shut the fuck up. You'll take it. It's the last one of the year.
That's right. You will
Damn
eat
it.
the cat poop. I will not eat the cat poop. You will eat the cat poop.
Yeah, no doubt. But speaking of forcing the last one down your throat at the end of the year, we also got confirmation that they are officially returning the cross promotion over on the other side of the MMA house, as it were. The New Year's Eve card, traditionally held by Ryzen, will once again be Ryzen versus Bellator, champion versus champion cross promotion New Year's Eve tournament, if you will.
But if I win, me and you come together.
There are some very
create
interesting
a united
matchups
fighters
on that
association
card.
to help
I'm not going to
UFC
say they're all great,
fighters
but I will say there are some
better pay
interesting
and
matchups.
better healthcare.
on that card.
You become the interim president.
Somebody's watching the Jake Paul shit. I mean, I actually liked that clip, but I think that's it. I just bring that. I can overhear that in the
I was going to
background.
say, I didn't know what the fuck was going on here.
It's like the little press conference Jake Paul and Anderson Silva did today, or whatever. Jake Paul made a bet with him that if Anderson wins, he'll do a kickbox. He at first said an MMA match, but then they agreed on a kickboxing match, and then Jake said if he loses. Or no, yeah, if Jake wins, right, then they're going to start a coalition, right, for fighters.
If Anderson Silva wins the boxing match this weekend, Jake Paul is contractually obligated to then turn around and immediately fight him in a exhibition kickboxing match.
Yeah.
Because Anderson Silva is retired from MMA and he's not going to come out of retirement for Jake Paul, and he told him that to his fucking face. So I fucking love the spider for that. But on the other side of that, if Jake actually wins the boxing match this weekend, then he and Anderson Silva partner up to form an MMA Fighters Association, officially trying to get better fighter pay and health benefits for active fighters on the roster. And Anderson Silva becomes the president pro tem of the organization to help promote it. Anderson
Why do I feel
immediately
like
stood up and
somebody's
shook
going
his
to
hand
throw a
for it.
fight?
Anderson immediately shook his hand for it. So
yeah, somebody's throwing the fucking fight there.
it's an interesting way to make people give a shit about a press conference that otherwise nobody really gave two fucks about. I will say that. Speaking of something that people shouldn't give two fucks about, but apparently they're going to, David fucking Feldman, you son of a bitch, officially contractually confirmed as of yesterday afternoon, March 18th in Abu Dhabi will be a BKFC special rules, I say with air quotes for those of you listening, match for the ages. Bukau versus Senchai in a bare knuckle match. I wish I had a good enough vocabulary to describe how fucking angry that actually makes me. These are two legitimate living legend status Muay Thai practitioners that are being chalked up in a circus freak style fucking arena and hawked off as a fucking sideshow to make David Feldman a better Asian audience for fucking bare knuckle boxing, and it irks my fucking gherkin so goddamn hard it snaps. This is just as impractical and immoral, in my opinion, as booking Bigfoot Silva as your fucking main event. They're fucking legends. They both have over 300 professional Muay Thai matches each, not together, each. Let them fucking be in peace. God damn it. But no, Feldman sees those fucking dollar signs in that Asian market on the end of the reel, so he's gonna try and fucking hook him in, you cocksucker. That being said, like we talked a little bit about earlier with Sadudu, we did get confirmation this week from both Dana White himself and Nowitzki, the Golden Snitch, and USADA that as of right now, Conor McGregor is not in the USADA testing pool, and before he will be eligible to compete within the UFC again, he must complete a minimum of 6 months and or 2 completely clean tests before he is eligible to accept any contract under the UFC. So he is officially out of the pool at the moment, so he very well could have been out there on his Lamborghini yacht juicing his Irish tits off, and nobody can say shit so long as he cycles down and gets all the metabolites out of his shit before he comes back and gets into the fucking pool again and his titanium shin bones ready for more red panty nights. So who fucking knows? At this point, it's really all up in the air, quite literally. We did get one last piece of, I'll say it's good news. It's interesting more than anything, but it is actually good news, especially since it's the second time in 2 weeks that we've heard of something like this happening. Originally booked on BYB Extreme Bare Knuckle Boxing was November 10th, the return to combat sports of one Dada 5000. Well, the Florida Athletic Licensing Committee officially, as of yesterday, said, no, the fuck he is not, because as of now, he is still currently indefinitely medically suspended in the state of Texas for that god-awful Bellator fight against Kimbo Slice, where he quite literally had a heart attack in the fucking cage and died twice at the hospital, completely flatlining before they brought him back. So he has to clear the indefinite medical suspension he still has in Texas from that bullshit before Florida will give him any kind of a combat sports license to compete, which I'm not saying is the decision that is always made, as we have seen last weekend with that fucking Dillashaw bullshit that should have never passed any doctor's fucking sniff test, let alone what he said to Mark Goddard in the fucking back. But that's neither here nor there. But to see that last week, the Colorado Commission denied Melvin Gillard his fucking license, which they should have fucking denied. I agree with that decision. I'm just saying, this is a rare occurrence normally. And we saw last week that the Colorado Commission said, no. This man shouldn't take punches to the fucking head, and they wouldn't license him. That was that. This week, this goofy fuck tried to come back and get back into bare knuckle in Florida, and the commission said, no. You've got to fucking answer to the fucking Texas state because you died in the fucking ring, you fat lard of shit. At least we're getting consistent accountability across state lines when it comes to this subject. And that is just a small piece of hope that I can fucking grab onto with both hands and hang on too tightly, god damn it. That and then the bet between Silva and Paul. That was the only other thing that I had. I'm glad commissions are at least growing a tiny set of balls. Even if it takes so much insanity to get there, at least we're seeing athletic commissions who are the only fucking ones in a situation like this who have any power actually fucking using it to keep dudes who shouldn't be taking punches from taking punches they shouldn't be fucking taking. So I applaud them for that. Oh. That being said, either one of you gentlemen have anything in the news section that I might have missed this week?
Did you cover the Ryzen and fucking Bellator thing? Did I miss that? I might not have.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, New Year's Eve. That one's exciting to me. Other than that, not a whole fucking lot.
I heard some news. They're going to South Korea the day before my birthday, February 4th.
That's what it's looking like. I don't know if they've officially announced it, but there are
So
multiple different sources that I have seen that
if
said
that
that's what they're
happens,
aiming
right?
for.
Isn't that the first time though that they go to Korea?
I won't be I think they've been there one time before, but I think it was in like 2003 or 2004.
Oh, that would be the weekend before the Australia card, so it would make sense for them to go from Korea straight to Australia.
Right down to Australia.
That's
yeah,
a
that would
pretty
make the
fucking
travel
short
for them
flight.
so much easier.
Yeah.
And
And we already know what's going to happen in Australia. Volkanovski is going to end up there one fucking way or another, and so will fucking goddamn old Bobby Knuckles.
Yeah, it's almost foregone at this point.
Yeah. Like, basically, you'll see that whole fucking set of gyms all be down there.
Yeah.
And if they're not on the card, they'll be in the fucking audience, and that'll also go for city kickboxing, because that's a pretty short flight to go from New Zealand to fucking Australia.
Yeah, they'll hop over real quick, I bet. Real fucking quick. But that's all we've got for news and recent events this fine weekend. So that will bring us into a little segment that we like to call Slows, Cans, and Contenders, where us old farts get to hear a little bit about some of these up-and-coming cans that we should actually be paying attention to, and which ones are just the cans that we kind of expect them to be. So, Brother Christian, if you would be so kind, please, sir.
All right. So still in that period. Don't have a lot. Next week, I'll have a little bit more. I'm going to try to break into the Shamrock card that's going to go down next weekend. We get that going down here in St. Louis the same weekend that we get that UFC event. So that'll be a little bit of fun to talk about next week. We got a handful, like I talked about earlier, the handful of shit. We got a handful of fucking debuts being made from the contender series that we just had a couple months ago, right? So we're getting Vinicius Salvador making his debut, and this is all here at the end of the year. Most of them are on the 282 card. The only one that's at the end of the year, December 17th, Jamal Pogues. He's making his debut against Stefan and Chukwu. I think he's going to get his ass lit up. Even if he's had a few months to train, that's a hell of a first fucking matchup. And that dude was just jab, jab, jab for 3 rounds.
I like Pogues, but man,
he's great personality. I love his personality. Like on the
cool
mic, he was awesome.
And he was a decent fighter for what he was up against. But man, talk about throwing him to the fucking wolves right away. They're giving him to Nchukwu right away.
Yeah, fuck, yeah. And then, like I said, Vinicius Salvador started off the 282 handful that we're getting. Literally, they're giving us a handful of debuts. So he's fighting Daniel Da Silva. I feel like this is a decent matchup. It's not as, it was like a bad matchup for him. But Salvador was also the underdog on the contender series. It was definitely a huge surprise when he finished the guy that he fought. We'll see how he can go, right? He's not fighting a guy that's crazy good or anything. He's getting what you would think he'd get for a debut, and you'll see how he does. Cameron Saman, he's getting his debut. We got Eric Silva and then Raul Rosas Jr. Obviously, Rosas Jr. He's fighting Jay Perrin. I don't think Perrin. It's all the same. Like most of the guys are getting easy matchups. Eric Silva's fighting T.J. Brown. Cameron Samon's fighting Ronnie Lawrence. That's somewhat of a decent matchup, but we'll see how they all do. More likely than not, they should all come out with some wins. But is it like boring decision? Do they get finishes? So I still say it's a handful of shit because the only one I'm really looking forward to is Cameron Saman. He looked really good on the Contender Series, and he's really young, like 22 years old. So we'll see what he can make out of it. But of course, Rosas Jr., the youngest fighter, it's not going to be a promotion they end for quite a long time. The youngest fighter that they've ever signed, making his debut at the end of the year. And then I just touch on some of the hometown hopefuls and Kansas City killers of 2022. That's kind of how I'm putting this. We got Jeff Molina. As far as it's looking, he's going to be fighting Jimmy Flick at the start of next year in Brazil on that 283 card. Obviously excited for him. Cracked in the top 15, 3-0 in the UFC so far. Did well in the FAC and shit like that here in Kansas City. So always rooting for the hometown guys. Sad news that Garrett Armfield had to pull out of his fight against Christian Rodriguez. They replaced that with Joshua Weems. I heard it was to staph infection. Garrett Armfield got a staph infection, so he had to pull out from the fight. Hope to see him again soon. Probably won't be this year, but the fact that the UFC gave him another chance after his fight with David Onama, hopefully they still give him that other chance once he's good to go. Hope to see David Onama again soon after that fucking hell of a fight he had with Nate Landwehr. I mean, he needs to work on the cardio and gas tank, but he showed some fucking toughness getting his ass beat by Nate the Train, right? So we'll see how he goes his next fight up. Then we got some up and comers here, some guys that are top pros here in the state of Missouri that we might see crack in, maybe the Ultimate Fighter this upcoming year, maybe next year's Contender Series. You got Nick Meck, who we just saw at the start of the month, the FAC 16. He's now 5-0. Dude's fucking crazy. He's finished every one of his fights. Might see him fight again early next year. And we got Mickey England. He's 7-1. He's the number 1 ranked middleweight in Kansas and Missouri. Expect to fucking see him potentially get to the fucking UFC in some capacity soon. Trevor Wells, he just fought on Uriah Faber's fucking A1 combat card this last weekend. Got another win. He's 8-3. Another guy you might fucking see in the near future. And then we've got a number 1 heavyweight in Kansas and Missouri, Kyle Norbit. He's 11-2. So a heavyweight out of the hometown that you might fucking get to see later on in the future. Just excited about that shit. Well, just wanted to throw out some of these names. Next week we'll try to get into the fucking Shamrock card and shit like that for the Cans and Contenders. Try to break it from what I've seen. I'll say it now. Give you a warning. I'm going to try to make the best of it because it's looking like there's a lot of cans on this fucking Shamrock card next weekend. Looking forward to the end of the year card because they've got a lot of good fights already set up for that.
I was gonna say I was originally looking at possibly going to that Shamrock card next month in St. Louis, but after looking at the actual card, I'm like, no, I'm happily gonna pass that one up and try and make the one at the end of the year.
1 and 2 guys facing some 3 and 3s is like, it's whoo.
It's
all right.
Not many
can versus can. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll sell it up next week, but we got a couple of decent fights. So
yeah, no, there's still a couple of good ones on there for sure.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated, sir. So that will bring us to a little segment that we first and foremost have to say are not in any way, shape, or form sponsored or endorsed by Tapology.com.
Yeah.
However, on the other hand, they do offer a free service where you can make an account and choose who you think will win, how, and when during the fights. We have created a group for just such picks that you are more than welcome to join. It is called ImNoBookie, all one word, no spaces, or group 965, however you need to look for it. Apply, we'll join, and you could be in there picking against us in a little segment that we wrap up the results with, who we like to refer to as Tapology with TJ.
So we're gonna go straight into this, and I'm gonna work from top to bottom. I was gonna work from bottom to top, but that's not gonna do my end game well. So I'm not gonna go back to last week yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right away into this week's looking forward, and then we're going to come back to recapping last week's, because I've got a good segue into our next upcoming segment for this. So we're gonna run with what we've got here. So this week's card, we've got the KattarVsAllen card, which it's a card. It's something to pick. It might not be what you like, but there's something. We'll just leave it at that. I did notice as I went through these, and I checked them earlier today, we're pretty close to the same thing we had fucking last week. 50-50 odds pretty much across the fucking board. There's really not a big fucking difference on any of the fights on this card. So it doesn't matter who you're picking this week. This week, I say go with your guts from top to bottom. And that's even starting out your first fucking fight on the card, Christian Rodriguez and Josh Weems. Fucking minus 200 for Rodriguez, a plus 170 for Weems, 50-50. Cody Durden and Carlos Mota, same thing, minus 175, plus 150, respectively. It's the same shit. One of the bigger fucking odd differences on the card is actually the Chase Hooper fight. Chase Hooper and Steve Garcia. They have Chase Hooper at almost a minus 300. It's minus 275 and a plus 230 for Steve Garcia. Now, with that being stated, can Hooper get it to the ground? If he gets it to the ground, fucking Garcia's fucked, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So going on from there, the next closest one that's pretty close in fucking odds, and actually the next two fights are the exact same fucking odds. So Joseph Holmes and the Iron Turtle himself, Jung Young Park, plus 200, minus 240, respectively. Next fight on the card, worn out, beat up ass Andrei Arlovsky and fucking half-witted, sorry son of a bitch, and Marcos Rosario de Lima, plus 200, minus 240. Exact same odds, same fucking way across the board. Philip Hawes and Roman Dolidze, fucking minus 170, plus 145. Again, 50-50s we're running here.
Fuck's sake.
It's fucking bad. Now, opening the main card, you got Dustin Jacoby and a hit-or-miss Khalil Roundtree Jr., fucking minus 170, plus 145, respectively, in the way that I'm naming the names. Jacoby's fucking ranked. Roundtree is not. There should be a bigger difference there, because I hate to say it, I like Roundtree, but he's never fucking consistent. So you can't count on him.
And it's so aggravating, too, because when he's on, he's fucking badass. When that Tiger Muay Thai comes out, he's a fucking wrecking machine.
Yeah, like
These past couple fights, he's been violent as fuck. Like, he's in some violent finishes.
And that's what I'm hoping to see out of him, because that's part of the reason why I liked him so much when he first came into the UFC, because he showed that all the time. And then he just kind of fell off, and he might be getting back to it. And then coming into our next fight, we've got Josh Fredman and fucking Tresean Gore. Minus 155, plus 135, respectively. To be honest, I think they're giving fucking Tresean Gore way too much fucking credit, because to be honest, what he showed in his last fight was not fucking impressive at all. He shouldn't even be on the main card. He should be on the undercard.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful he can get a win, though. Just with what he's been dealing with, and his personality. I still root for the
Look,
guy, but I don't have a lot of faith in it. I just,
Right.
you know, I'm
Okay.
hopeful for it.
I'll put it this way. Just because I like somebody doesn't mean they're going to do well. The dude is a genuinely nice person. He's very respectful. But he's
It's like this week in Media Day, him telling us about the fact that his mom has gone through diabetes and he watched her get her leg amputated. And he just, his whole life, ever since he grew up in the ghetto, he just wanted to make it, right? And be some, him getting emotional a little bit. I thought it was a little bit pussy. You never really want to cry when you're having an interview, but especially when you're a fighter. But it was
that
genuine, right? You just hope to see the guy get a win. You don't, you know, if he loses, he's out. So if he gets a win, he'll still get to make some paychecks. Maybe help
the problem
his
with
family
that.
out.
You can get as sappy as you want to be and be a genuinely nice person like he seems to be, which is fucking great. Be that person, but you have to put up. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you're
you gotta
fucking
be a
out.
killer.
And to be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know how he got a fucking shot in the first place, except for we had some really shitty cards this year where they're like, oh, fuck, we got to make some calls. And he kind of had a rough go in the house.
You
Let's
may
give
not
him.
have watched last year's Ultimate Fighter. When he first fought on the, he knocked
I watched it.
his first fight he had. He knocked the dude out. He looked really good, and then he just got fucking hurt. So
Exactly.
they gave him that chance against Brian Battle, and yeah, he didn't look very good once he got that. But
Neither one of them.
attribute it to nerves and shit. And then he gets knocked out the next fight. So it's just.
I'm just saying, look, it's put up or shut up in the UFC. Yeah, the guy's a nice guy. I'll give him that. Man of God, whatever. You do your thing, man. But that doesn't excuse the fact that he doesn't fucking belong here. But then that brings us into the same thing. The next two fights, pretty close in fucking odds as well. Waldo Cortez Acosta, Jared Vendera, whatever the fuck, however the hell he says his goddamn name. Minus 195 and a plus 165 respectively. Then you have what I was the co-main event, which, to be honest, is probably the sleeper on the entire card, just because you got Tim Dirty Bird Means and Max Griffin. That's pretty close in odds too, which I understand because Max Griffin, it really hasn't been that great, and Dirty Bird's shown up quite a bit lately.
Fuck yeah, he has.
What's funny is they have Dirty Bird is even with him showing up as well as he has lately, they've got him at a plus 160 underdog and minus 190 for Max Griffin. Not mad at the odds.
You're giving the advantage to Max in Vegas?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize
it's a little odd. But
wow.
Either way, I understand it being pretty close to 50-50 because Max Griffin is no world breaker. And Tim Means, I hate to say it, you're fucking old, dude. That's all there is to it.
Shit. I love him, but he's old as shit. Yeah. I love Tim Means, but he's old as shit. Absolutely.
And then that brings you into the fucking main event, which is a literal fucking coin flip on odds. Calvin Kattar and Arnold Allen. They have a minus 105 for Calvin Kattar and a minus 115 for Arnold Allen. That's literally a fucking coin flip card right there.
Yeah.
That's a pick'em fight. There's no way to fucking make any money off that fight.
Yeah,
that's the one fight
big money comes in late. There's no way you're making a penny either way on that fucking fight.
That's one you wait until like the third round and see what the odds are and bet on the fucking underdog.
Hope that last minute line goes real heavy.
Yeah, that's about the best thing you can do. But yeah, across the board, back-to-back weeks, basically 50-50s. No weird outliers. The biggest outlier here, Chase Hooper and Steve Garcia. And that's not even an outlier because that's still pretty close to a 50-50 at a minus 275 and a plus 230. So there you are with your odds for this week. Do with those what you will, but this is not a money-making card for those of you that are bettors. That's all I can tell you. Now, that brings us into what's very important here. Last week, told y'all I took a week off on purpose just because I didn't enjoy the fuckery that was with that one or the other shit that was going on. So we took that week off.
Are you taking this week off too?
I'm tempted. I'm very tempted. However, I have to give fucking Calvin Kattar fucking respect, so I have to at least pick that fight, you know. But anyhow, coming back this week, Christian narrowly edges me out because of a lucky perfect pick at the fucking end. Otherwise, I would have had him dead.
I've done that a good bit this year. The Cheeto Bear over Dominic Cruz.
So
I
you
mean,
got
you could say luck, but I had that going the whole way. I didn't think he'd get no first round finish, so that's why I
and
went
part
second
of this,
round.
I
But I
will
thought
take,
it'd be
I will take
dominant.
blame on myself. There were two fights on the card where I picked against what I should have, because I picked with my fan card versus my fucking no, that's not how this is gonna go card. So I fucked myself out of at least 100 points there. So, but hats off.
Really, the thing that, if anything, edged me over you, it was just the O'Malley shit. Because I picked O'Malley for the fuck of it, just on some fun, and then he actually won on a fucked up split decision, right? And so I got 50 points from that, and I damn well know you didn't pick O'Malley. So
Goddamn right, I refuse to pick that
if
cocksucker.
anything helped me edge it out, it was just that shit. I got lucky with that.
So I'm right behind him, shortly there in second. And the next closest person is going to be Luke out there in the 415 land. And right behind Luke would be Christian's brother at 380. Then we've got Don coming in at 350. Meter coming in at 325. You know, there's a name out there that it's just on the tip of my tongue. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. The guy who tripped over his fucking dick. Tim. Advocate. The avocado. Fucking just face planted with a 230. Only 4 correct picks on the entire card. Now, that's not to say Meter wasn't fucking biting his nails there about tripping over his dick, because he was pretty fucking close with only 5 correct picks last week. That's all I'm saying. So, look, I gave everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Last I checked, though, MMA math aside, last I checked, 5 was still more than 4.
Just saying.
Not if it's Christian math. Just saying.
Gave everybody a fucking week off, and I came back with a fucking vengeance. So you guys know I'm here. That's how this works. I give you a little rope to hang yourself, then I come back. That's how this works. Now that we're back in, the best part of this being, since Tim tripped over his dick, he is going to have a chance to redeem his dick tripping here in a couple of moments in the pit. So there lies our segue into our next segment. Meter, it's all yours, man.
No, I'm pretty sure he's going to continue.
Wait a minute, you said 5 is better than 4, right? I want to make sure he gets a complete set of 5 participation trophies. So we're good.
Kids these days, I tell you.
You know, I actually used to get some wins, and I've beaten the glorious brother Golfty himself a couple of times.
I'm giving you the baby stink eye because I know you can't handle the real thing.
Where I just got unlucky with some round 5ers. And I'm coming in prepped, prepared, and that's the thing. I'm always ready to fight. I'm everybody's favorite. Here every single week.
He hasn't read chat. He hasn't read chat.
No. That'll bring us to the point. If you hadn't heard it yet, if you hadn't figured it out, if you hadn't guessed, the Grand Prix is over. We are back to full-blown call-out mode here. You might have clued in on it if you were watching on youtube.com/ImNoJoe by that glorious, dark, and intimidating GIF that rolls across the screen to let you know the friendly time is over. And this is the point where our nice, lovely show takes a turn for the competitive and a little thing we like to call the pit. That being said, tonight being our first of the call-out matches post-GrandPrix, none other than the show's very own Kansas Contender segment host himself, the brother Christian, got himself the first call-out match, calling down the wrath of the avocado, which has dubiously been answered, and tonight we shall find out which man reigns supreme. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to our first post-GrandPrix episode of The Pit. Gentlemen, are you ready for your turns?
Well, hold on just a second before we get started. Is it okay if I come on screen, or is it going to scare you too much, Christian? Gotta check. I want to make sure you're okay.
I'm not afraid of this.
Okay. I did put puppies and kittens in the background for you just to make sure. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I
Just
just want to
save
make
that
sure
for
you're
Sean
okay.
O'Malley.
You know, I mean, I know that you're a little sensitive. It's okay. It's okay. And I saw you juicing up, trying to get yourself. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
This is not juice, sir. This is water.
Yeah, that's also what the other guy says. Yeah, okay.
So, with
I'm
that
not
being
the
said,
biggest cock of the year, TJ Dillashaw.
that being said here, since we have seen Christian multiple times throughout the Grand Prix itself, we are going to give Mr. Avocado the champion's position here, as it were. We're going to give you first crack here. So for round one, sir, we're going to get things back to a little established set of things we like to go through. We open it with a little fight we ask of you. We like to refer to as, "Hey, Mom, get here." There's one fight on every UFC card that most people don't talk about, but when it comes on, you'll be damned if you're going to let it go by without getting everyone in earshot to watch it. Which fight for you, sir, is that this weekend?
I kind of hate to use this one, but it is the one that I actually really care about. So I want to see this main event. I just do. Calvin versus Arnold. I want to see this. I'm really excited about this because this could be really, really fun. Now, I do think it's going to be very one-sided and someone's going to get their ass kicked, but it's going to be fun, entertaining. You know, it'll be just like this show right here, right now. You're about to see this with Christian. That's why I got puppies and kittens in the background. I want to make sure he doesn't cry too much at the end. Got to make sure. So that would be the one for me that I got to absolutely watch because, you know, I think the Almighty is gonna just pummel the crap out of the Calvin, and I'm pretty sure I'm sorry, Christian. I mean, I know Calvin's your friend, and he's in the same position as you, so he's the under. I know it's okay. It's okay. Calm down.
No, I'm going Arnold
Yes.
Allen, buddy. Hey, you got this all wrong.
But yeah, that's the one I would pick for the week. I really can't. I'm really looking forward to that. But unfortunately, I have to get through all the rest of them to get to that one. So that for me is unfortunate. It's at the end. There's a couple other ones that aren't too bad. I'll be honest.
I can get down with that. That's absolutely a fight, in my opinion. You want to make sure anybody around you is going to be paying attention to. Brother Christian, on the other side of that coin, as it were here, for you, which one is the one you are going to be knee slapping if you let anybody within earshot get away from that event having missed that fight? What is the fight for you, sir?
All right. So first, slightly agree with Avocado on the main event. It will be an exciting fight, but it's the main event. It should be an exciting fight. So we'll give you one that's going to be a hell of a fight. You'll want everybody to see that it hasn't been talked about, but it should be talked about. The co-main, Max Griffin versus Tim the Dirty Bird fucking memes. I haven't been hearing about it for shit, other than maybe here and there on a podcast throughout the week. This is going to be a great fight. Tim Means comes out looking like he's looked good against Kevin Holland in his last fight before Kevin got it to the ground and locked up the submission. When they were standing on the feet, Dirty Bird looked fucking good. He is getting old, like the brother Meter said earlier, but he's still fucking tough motherfucker. You can't get away from that. Max Griffin hasn't looked the greatest himself, but again, tough motherfucker. We could very much see a slobber knocker of a fucking fight, and I feel like this is maybe one of the most interesting fights of the night. Kind of how, this is a good hang, but with how shit shaked up, that's why this made it to the co-main event. This is going to be a hell of a fight.
Not bad. Not bad. I'll give you credit there.
I definitely agree with there as well. Good points. I've got to say, the edge for me here was the dual point counterpoint rebuttal here. Not only did Christian give us a good fight, he also pointed out that Avocado was dangling a little bit of that low-hanging fruit by calling the main event as the one to see.
How many main events have we had in the past few months so that it just sucked?
Yeah,
Sorry.
there's a couple that were supposed to suck. So
But like I said, a main event is supposed to be good. I mean,
Supposed
like the brother Meter always
Supposed
says,
to.
UFC is going to UFC, but the main event is supposed to be the one everybody's excited about, right? Like,
Supposed to.
True.
There's been a couple, not so much.
Very, very true as well. But that being said here, as we flip the coin, as it were, Brother Christian, we will kick this one off with you for round 2, sir. The opposite side of that questionnaire coin, if you will. What the fuck are we looking at here? There is one fight on every card that everybody's like, you gotta see it, you gotta see it. And when it comes, you literally are sloping off on your fucking hand trying to keep your eyes open during that fight. So for you, sir, which fight on this card does that ranking get?
All right. So for me, this one's easy because I run the slows, cans, and contenders segment. So I'm going to give the guy's debut, Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Jared Vandera. They've put this in the people's main event slot. What the fuck is this even doing on the card? Neither one of these guys should be in the UFC. If we're going to call somebody a can, it's definitely Cortez Acosta. He was one of those guys that we talked about weeks ago on one of the segments. What the fuck was Dana thinking when he gave him a contract? And even more so, you give the guy an opportunity and you're going to fucking give him the potentially easiest matchup. There's no difficulty with this at all. Jared Vandera, 4-fight fucking losing streak, and his ass should have already been cut from the UFC. So what's going to happen here? We're going to get an ugly-ass walrus slap fight, potentially a Jared Vandera knockout. That might be slightly interesting to, the average fan that's a little drunk and or baked, however you partake. But how entertaining is that? It's just not worthy of UFC. You can find knockouts in any form of MMA, the regional fucking leagues, and all the above. This is trash. And hopefully once Vandera gets his ass knocked out by a trash guy and we see a trash walrus fight, Vandera's out of there and maybe they give Cortez Acosta a test so that he can get knocked the fuck out and see what he's really fucking made of. Because the dude's just, I don't see anything. He's undefeated. He's 7-0, but just don't see any skill. I feel like Jamal Pogues, like we talked about earlier, a little better than this guy. And then you just put this in the fucking people's main event. What the fuck are we seeing?
I could definitely understand, definitely agree with that as well. That's one of those, why is this on the main card kind of fights for me as well. So I can absolutely agree with that point. But that will bring us back across the octagon, as it were, here to our brother, the Avocado. So for you, sir, there has got to be inevitably one fight on this card that you see and you're just like, why the fuck is anyone telling you to watch this? Because even I know that this is bullshit. What fight is that for you, sir?
Fuck, I hate to agree with Christian on this one, but that's exactly the one I picked as well. Because it's just, this is going to go to decision. Just right off the bat, this is going to go 9 chances out of 10 decision, unless like Jared gets a lucky shot. Unless it's a lucky shot, it's going decision. And yes, I think that Salsa Boy is going to win this fucker somehow. And I don't know how. He's apparently going to climb the mountain and drop his salsa in his mouth or something. I don't know exactly how this is going to go down, but it's something like that. And yeah, why the fuck is this so ranked so high? And they have actually kind of promoted this. Why? I mean, I think there's another more inappropriate like matchup the way they're kind of pushing a card, but this is definitely the one that's going to suck ass to watch. It's going to be like watching paint dry. This is going to be like watching Christian try to do math when he's trying to figure out picks. It's going to take you 3.5 hours. You're going to waste your fucking time. You might as well have just tuned out, went and piled your fucking wood, split your wood, cut your wood, cut your trees down, and started for next year. Come back and then watch Christian try to figure out. Oh yeah, that's right. This was the card I wanted to see. I thought for sure he was going to want this one. I thought this was going to be.
I mean, your point in agreement is fantastic, but your trash talk is like Aljamain Sterling. I had my picks in way before you, buddy, and it takes me 5 minutes. I got my math straight. And not to mention I was number 1 last week and you tripped over your dick. So we'll see if you do it again tonight.
I had to do something. You looked so upset the last time when you lost. I had to try and pep you up a little somehow.
Mood, buddy. Like I said at the start, I love fucking being on the best MMA podcast out there in the world, right?
He is in a great mood, but that's because he never read chat, right? Right, Meter? He hasn't read chat. That's why he's in a great mood.
Avocado out there playing dirty.
I don't read. My
No, Salsa
hate-
Boy is going to beat the Mountain on this one. I have a feeling, and it's going to be a long ass, drawn out decision. It's just going to be stupid. And why are either one of them on a main card? I had another one picked at first, and I was like, but these guys just suck. They shouldn't even be here. I hate the fact Christian picked the same one, but I mean, every once in a while, blind pig finds a nut every once in a while. Whatever. It's okay, Christian. You got it.
I love how much
You
the
picked it.
casual talk shit. And that's why I called the casual out this week. I needed to get my rematch when I lost in the Grand Prix to the casual. And he
I was
talks
gonna
so
say, you
much.
do realize you're 0-1 so far, so yeah, just saying.
It's good stuff.
So that being said, I have to agree on both points here. This is absolutely one of the fights for me that not only doesn't belong on the main card. I don't understand why this fight had to be made to begin with, but if the UFC needs a reason to see Jared Vander get his ass kicked, shut up, assholes.
Fine, we won't talk.
Nobody likes Jared Vander. What can I say? That being said, here, I was a little swayed here, but I have to give credit where credit is due here. Dropping salsa in your mouth it won me over here. You both made valid points, but the salsa bit won it over for me. So for round 2 here, we have to give the point to the avocado. So that being said, here, round 3, bring things back over onto the front side of the house here. A little question we like to refer to as the how's it go down section here. Main event, co-main event, obviously 2 of the main reasons people are supposed to be tuning into the fights. So we start with the co-main event. In this particular situation, we are talking about none other than the Dirty Bird, Tim Means versus Max Payne Griffin. So for you, Mr. Avocado, I am curious, how do you see this one playing out?
First off, I apologize. I think he's kind of getting there. I know you like the Dirty Bird, but I think this one's going to take a little bit of time because if Dirty Bird still does he's still got a little bit of fight left in him. He really does. So it's not going to be 1, 2, 3, you're done. But I'm thinking by round 3, he's going down. I think that Payne's got some power behind him. I think he can do it. And I think he's got youth on his side, and he's going to get this one. But I don't think he's going to do it in 1 or 2 rounds. I think it's going to be round 3. Give a couple rounds, a good fight back and forth, wear him down, get that old age thing going on. And all of a sudden he's going to go, oh, I'm old. I'm done. Like Christian's hopes and dreams. A puppy right there for you. Kitten. Which one you prefer? I'm not sure. Okay. So yeah, I do think that Griffin's got this in the 3rd round, and he's going to go down like a Dirty Bird's going to go down like a sack of potatoes.
Bold strategy, Cotton. I've got to say, Griffin definitely has a puncher's chance in this fight. I will absolutely agree. That's what I'll agree with. So that being said, that'll bring us back over to the other side of the octagon, as it were. Brother Christian, the Dirty Bird versus Max Payne himself. Neither one of them are obviously the most consistent, but they are obviously both very dangerous men. And in this co-main dual marquee matchup, as it were, one man must reign supreme. So tell me, sir, how do you see our co-main event challenge playing out this weekend?
All right. So, thank you for giving me another opportunity to talk about the brother Dirty Bird Tim Means. That's how I'm looking at this. I'm on the other side of the fence compared to our casual here. I think Tim Means has looked fantastic. Kevin Holland's one of the fucking best up and coming guys, whether he's going in the middleweight division or the welterweight division. He's bounced back and forth. The fucker literally 1 day notice just went against Hamzat Chimaev, whether he lost that fight or not. He had the balls enough to take that fucking fight on. Tim looked great in the first round. It took till the second round before Kevin could fucking niche up a submission, right? He looked great in that fight. Before that fight, beat Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby's a pretty fucking good dude. Mike Perry, he's not in the UFC anymore, but a lot of guys, and I would agree, me, myself, really love me some Mike Perry. Think he's a pretty decent fucking fighter. Maybe not the greatest, but Tim Means, yeah, he's getting on that older side. He's still fucking a badass, like I said earlier in the podcast. Tough motherfucker. He's not getting put out by Max Payne Griffin. That's not happening. We might get a slobber knocker of a fight, very entertaining. But Max Griffin's been back and forth. He's never really been consistent. And if this gets into a dog, dirty fight, then the fucking Dirty Bird's getting her done.
I love you led with a loss as your first and forefront. I'm sorry.
It's a good thing I'm not judging the fight. You would have lost that point purely on bringing up fucking aluminum.
It's these days, I tell you. So I've got to say, you both have made points. But in this particular situation, I am inclined to agree. As I like to believe myself, just because you're old don't mean you can't do it no more, motherfucker. So I've got to believe that the Dirty Bird can still get it done despite the younger whippersnappers nipping at his fucking heels. So in this particular situation, we're going to give the point to the brother Slovak here.
Oh, it's so painful to watch you guys lose this round when it comes to the picks. So it's okay. It's okay. You got puppies and kitten here next week too when you guys come back and talk.
Was it heart surgery, Grandma? So that, however, will bring us to round 4, where we like to wrap things up with our main event of the evening, the marquee banner matchup, as we mentioned earlier, that folks generally should be tuning in for. And this particular situation in the form of one Calvin Kattar versus one Arnold Allen, number 5 versus number 6 in the featherweight division. So in this particular matchup, Mr. Avocado, I would like to know, how do you see our UFC main event shaking loose this Saturday evening?
First off, I'm hoping this is a really good match and not over in 5 seconds. So my predictions here are actually a little farther out than I really think it's going to go, but it's out of hopes and dreams because I want to watch this one go for a while. So I'm thinking round 4, but that's actually being a little bit generous. I don't think it's really going to go that far, but I think Allen's got this one. The Almighty's got this one. I mean, I don't know. He's freaking hungry. He's really hungry. And I think he's going to knock the shit around Calvin. It's just not going to go well. But it's also going to be, it's not going to be a one-sided fight. We're going to see some fighting back and forth. I hope. It's better go the way we want it to, because if not, then we just all said that we hyped this one up and it's like, oh, it fucking sucked. But yeah, in the 4th round, I think that we're going to see Calvin pushing up a little, helping grow some daisies in the ring, and we'll be okay.
Interesting. Very interesting take indeed. So, that being said, that'll bring us back to the other side of the octagon, as it were. Brother Christian, in this marquee matchup, featherweight contender distribution fight, I guess you might call it. Contender-esque eliminator, kind of, maybe almost, but not really, because we still got fuckery at the top of the division. But that being said, the main event for Saturday evening, which is, folks, remember, an earlier card, not Abu Dhabi earlier, but earlier card, main event starting at 6 p.m. Central Time. So for that Calvin Kattar, Arnold Allen main kickoff, how do you think that one shakes loose, sir?
Well, I will agree with Avocado in the sense that I'm going with Arnold Allen. I do not agree that Arnold Allen is going to put out Calvin Kattar. I will give him that puncher's chance just like you would anybody. And I damn sure do think Arnold Allen's hungry. He also is on a 10-fight win streak. He hasn't lost for 8 years. 2014. And that was the only loss in his career. He's 18-1. The kid is fantastic. Probably one of the guys that deserves that ability to be in the talks for the title out of the featherweight division. If he did something like knock out Calvin Kattar, like the brother meter, it might it might clear up that top picture a little bit and maybe push Arnold Allen closer to getting to a title. I think Arnold Allen's going to get the decision win. Calvin Kattar, he's just too fucking tough, man. He's just such a badass motherfucker. Arnold Allen in media day said, you know, he's got the mileage on him. He's been through a lot of wars. It's true. And we've seen Max Holloway go through a lot of wars too. Nobody's put him out yet. You know, fucking Airplane did. No human beings ever fucking put the man out. So I think we're going to see a very exciting fight. Maybe the fight of the fucking night. Slobber knocker back and forth. Definitely going to see a lot of blood. Calvin Kattar's going to throw some fucking elbows, though. His ass isn't getting put to sleep. Arnold Allen gets the close decision.
So, I've got to say, this might have been one of the closest rounds we have seen outside of the tournament, at least in recent memory here. On one hand, I honestly was close to awarding our potential first ever 4-round victory to the brother Slowbake here. But as our brother Golf Tee likes to colloquially refer to, Christian had a moment where he tripped over his own dick. He was on such a roll. He had such a good steam going, and he misquoted bad information. You see, the young man, the almighty, if you will, Arnold Allen, is actually on an 11-fight win streak right now. And that does matter, especially when you're making title contention claims in a potential battle as big as a marquee fight night coming off of the craziness that was last weekend. We know where Volkanovski's head's at, so you gotta get your ducks in a row. So as close as
I
we were
need
to
some
having our
better
first
sources
potential-
because my sources say that he's on the 10-fight win streak. He's 9-0 in the UFC.
So
This would be the 11th. That's one of the stats that I got. So
Hell, is it the same person you got the juice from? Just curious. I'm just...
that being said, we are going to give the round 4 point here to the avocado. So if you can maths and you've been keeping up with the show, you will know that that will bring us to a winner take all sudden death round 5 that has absolutely nothing to do with the card that we are talking about here. Now, before we get to round 5, to appease the almighty Josh Thompson, since it is apparently the media's job now to promote cards, not the actual promoter's job, right, Josh Thompson? I would like to take just a moment to mention this weekend's upcoming almost did that. This weekend's upcoming Bellator 287 card live from Milan. No one needs to watch it because the whole card is fucking dog shit. The one fight that has the least bit of interest in it is the co-main event, and that's only to see if Leon Edwards' brother can really survive Charlie Ward. That being said, no one else gives a fuck and has a reason to. Josh Thompson, eat a fat dick. That being said, that'll bring us to round 5 here in the pit. Mr. Avocado, since you have the champion's perspective here, I will give you the option. You can either hold your champion's perspective and choose whether you answer your questions first or second, or you can choose your question number that you both must answer.
I would actually prefer go ahead, let Christian go first. I mean, he's got to be first at something tonight. He's not going to get first place, so he might as well get this.
Right. Well, with that being said, brother Christian, we need a number 1 through 10, please, sir.
all right. Well, sadly, I would have been in first place if I wouldn't have looked at sharedog.com to get my stats on Arnold Allen. But I'm going to go ahead with my lucky number 5. Yeah, I had to shout that out. Sheer Dog, what the fuck? Try to
Yeah,
dick me out of a
we'll,
4-round victory.
Ooh.
so tonight he's a cat person, just so you know. Yeah.
This is good. Okay.
I'm just saying, if you want, I'll read off the list of 11 of who he beat for you.
No,
So-
it's cool. It's just like I said, I need better sources. I look at Tapology and Sheer Dog and all that shit like that, especially for things like that.
They're
and trying to get
usually
fights.
pretty close, but they're not always.
Yeah, obviously so, right? Rob me of a 4-round victory.
I'm just saying, his last loss was in June of 2014. He's had 11 fights since then.
Well, I was right about having that stat about the 2014 being his last loss 8 years ago.
Absolutely.
Only
Absolutely.
having one.
Hey, you won the round that you started off with talking about a loss as a victory. Okay. So, you got to give me some whatever.
All right. Relax. You'll get your minute. So, for round 5,
Shit.
Brother Christian, you'll get this one first. Very interesting question. I'm very glad I stuck this on the wall of fucking weird questions to go for round 5 in the pit here. So, Christian, you get to go first on this one. The question to you, sir. Which recently cut fighter deserves to be brought back? Does not matter organization, does not matter gender, weight class, you name it. Just what recently cut fighter deserves to be brought back?
How recent? Within the past year?
Yes, I would say year would be good considering recency.
All right, so it was about a year ago that Dakota Bush last fought in the UFC. The brothers from fucking Kansas City. So I'm gonna ride or die with this, whether I fucking win or lose. Dakota Bush looked pretty fucking good a few weeks ago when me and the brother Vincent got to go to FAC 16. He's on a fucking fight win streak. Yeah, some people don't like the grappling. Even I admitted he needs to work on his fucking striking. But if he throws all the mixed martial arts together, he could definitely fucking make his way back to the UFC. I feel like he got a little bit of a tough shake. They only gave him 2 fights. Normally when you sign a guy to a contract, you give him at least 3 or 4. They gave him some tough guys. Borislev, however you pronounce those damn Russian names, knocked him the fuck out last year. That's why they fucking cut him. But it was only his second shot. I still think he's got some fucking juice in him. Fucking brother from Kansas City. Definitely cut recently. Deserves to get back in the UFC. He's ready to go again, too. Wanting to fight again. We might see him get back on the fucking card December 9th at the end of the year. And if he fucking goes that quick, you're also showing something a little bit there. We might fucking see him get back in the UFC next year. Like I said, ride or dying with the brother Dakota Harry fucking Bush from Kansas City.
Oh, I get that. Absolutely. And yeah, coming off that FAC victory, possibly getting him back on that other card before the end of the year, that could definitely be a good showing since the UFC absolutely gave him the short end of the fucking stick on that for sure. So
yeah, that's the biggest thing. If he gets back on that December card, that shows he's fucking willing to turn it around. He's staying active.
Quick. Absolutely.
They want that shit because that's how he'll get back. They'll give him a fucking short notice fight.
Yeah, no question about that. So with that being said, that'll bring us back across the octagon, as it were, here to our one and only Casual Avocado. So to you, sir, the question is, which recently cut fighter deserves to be brought back?
Now this one's a tough one. It is, but I have come up with a complete answer because yes, I am a casual. I know that Christian has more information in the background, but I know this one's a fact that is worth it. He should be coming back regardless of anything. And I'm taking a cue out of Clown Puncher's theories for this one. Hu Yaozong, because his name rhymes with dong, and everybody, you think about it, he can be Yazong the Dong and he can come back as a name if he ever fucking comes back and actually makes it anywhere. Just because he can come back with dong and his name rhymes with dong, you know what? That guy deserves to be back there just so it can be fun to say his fucking name. I'm sorry, but I don't give a shit if he's a good fighter. He can be the fucking trash fighter in the ring. They've had trash fighters that have lost like 6, 8 in a row and I keep them the fuck in. but this guy's basically he's a big dick. So let's just go with it and bring back Hu Yazong so he can be Yazong the Dong. I'm good with it.
I appreciate the laughs, brother, but that's why you're casual.
Yep.
The brother TJ made the point earlier tonight. We can't have trash in the UFC.
You can't, but we have trash in the UFC, so why not have some fun with the fucking names? I mean, we just look at our
on the best MMA podcast in the world, our beautiful commission kind of gets to make up the rules, and if they got to run the UFC, we wouldn't have no fucking.
Look at the one that we both chose as the shit show of the night for this upcoming thing. You're telling me that can happen, but Yazong the Dong can't come back? I mean, but you can have this matchup, and then one of them might actually get. You watch, someone will get a fucking title fight out of this thing in a matter of no time. Out of that stupid ass fucking match. Next time someone will trip and fall in the ring, fucking knock themselves out, and then they're gonna get the fucking title fight and be in there and like, what do I do? Yeah. Yazong the Dong has just as much of a fucking chance.
He knock himself out by tripping over his dong.
Maybe he trips the other guy. You know, his dong's so big it slips on the floor. There's a little bit of splooge there. He slips, falls. Who the fuck knows?
With that being said, I will say I absolutely have to give you both credit for coming up with very, very creative, recently released fighters and very good reasons as to why they should be brought back. Both of you have made very compelling arguments on behalf of said fighter in their behalf. I will have to say, though, the deciding factor for me, despite both of you making very valid arguments for your fighters, comes down to the fact that one of you not only didn't say your fighter's name right, but said it different times almost every single time you said that fighter's name. Much as I would love to yell about Dong being back in the UFC, I have to say that Harry Bush did not get a fair shake, and I absolutely agree. He got the rough run, and sometimes when you get buzzed too short, you just need a little bit of time to grow back.
Yeah, so Harry Bush is just as fun to fucking himself, say as Dong.
Too much Bush, not enough Dong. I mean, come on. It's supposed to be a cock waving contest, not a Bush pushing contest.
This is House of the Dragon. Whatever. Calm down, okay?
We're from the Midwest. It's all about the Bush, baby.
So, that being said, after a close back and forth battle, I am going to have to award round 5 and points victory for the match to the brother Slovak. You have got your redemption, sir. Congratulations. Well played to both of you gentlemen. I would like to thank you both for your time this evening. Thank you again to Golf T for stepping up, helping us out with the Tapology and keeping me occupied while we're listening to the shenaniganry. That being said, if you would like to get parts, give back to help us take part in said shenaniganry. I told you we're doing this live. The best way for you to do that is A, make sure whatever platform you are watching this on, you are subscribed and you have your notifications turned on. B, if you are listening to this in all audio form on ImNoJoe through your podcast consumption platform of choice, you already know that because you've got the audio version. But that being said, the week after we go live on ImNoJoe here on youtube.com/ImNoJoe, Thursday nights, 9:30-ish p.m. Central Time. The week after that, it comes in all audio format that you can pick up however you like. Please make sure you're subscribed and notified on there. If you would like to help what we do around here, the easiest way to do that is A, share a video, tell a friend, get us a little more exposure. We appreciate you. But B, the biggest way is patreon.com/ImNoJoe. For as little as $1 a month, you will get your name on a list of thank yous at the end of every broadcast on this channel, as well as access to unaired and literally unairable behind the scenes and backdoor shenaniganry that has taken place here on the ImNoJoe channel. Things we literally have to paywall content for. So that being said, as little as $1 a month, we appreciate you. But you are under no obligation. Our content is all out there for free if you wish to consume it that way as well. If you like it, please make sure your thumbs up are tuned in. On the other hand, though, if you do not like it, please, first and foremost, what the fuck are you doing this deep into a podcast you do not like? Give it the thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, that's all for this particular episode. We will catch you again next week, same bat time, same bat channel here on the I'm No Joe podcast. Hopefully get a What Did I Say show out this weekend, giving you a little recap. But that being said, that's all for this one. So remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything, unless it's clown worm not getting butt worms.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.